Hey everyone, we're back today with another Mav Pack hack from K&A Custom Fabrics. Today we are doing the Diva from the Fifth Element, and we have 2 or 4 pieces here to cut out. We have her front crown and we have their little hair type tubular pieces. So I'm going to cut these out and then we'll be right back. And we're back. So I've cut everything out. I have my pieces matched up here. This is our head crown piece and then our 2 side attachments. And I have a pile of interfacing scraps. If you wanted to, you could trace this on your interfacing and then cut it out 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch away from the edges and iron it on. I'm just going to use these scraps because why do I save them? So that I can use them. I'm also using my handy dandy, hold on, let me put this charger up, Cricut mini press here. Got it on Amazon, the good old Zon. So I'm just going to start putting pieces on here and ironing them on into the shape that I need. It's okay if they overlap. Look like this. There we go. And this is going to go into the seam, so it doesn't need to be perfect. We want to make sure that we stay at least 1/4 inch to 1/8 away from the edges. There we go. Get some more pieces in here. This is my favorite way to use up all my scraps. So I'll just keep picking from the pile over here until we're done. And then when I'm satisfied with the amount of interfacing that we have on each piece, I will tape them together so that we could top stitch and then edge paint them. So this is good enough for me. I'll go ahead and put some tape. Now we are going to be sewing this one into the seam allowance, so you don't need to edge coat the bottom when we're done. And then these, line them up to the best that you can. It doesn't have to be perfect because we can always trim it when we're done. So here we go. I have a little bit of the white, but that's okay. We can trim that off after we top stitch, or it'll just get covered with edge paint. Either way, it'll look good when we're done. Clean up. All right, we'll get these strand ones done and then we'll be ready to go. All right, so now we have 2 of these and 1 of these. I'm gonna go ahead and clear up my interfacing scraps here. Put that to the side. And so now I'm going to top stitch these at 1/8 of an inch all the way around. This one we're gonna go all the way around, and then we're gonna sew these on here onto the panel later on, but we need to sew them to edge coat them. And this one I'm going to sew all the way around, but we're not going to edge coat this side because this will be sewn into the seam, but you'll see when we get there. All right, so it looks like I need new thread. Be right back. Okay, so I'm going to use blue thread. It will be a contrast, but I like that. You can use whatever color thread that you'd like to use. I've got my machine thread, and I'm going to go ahead and start here at the bottom. I'm going to back stitch on the way back, so I'm not worried about it at the moment. And then go slow, hand crank if you have to. It doesn't have to be perfect. There you go. If you wanted to pull your threads to the back, you can. But since this is going in the seam, I didn't feel like that was necessary. So there's my top stitch. You can trim a little bit if you need to. Don't get too trim happy, or else it'll be uneven on the back, and you don't want that. All right, so we'll put this to the side. Up next, we're going to top stitch these. I'm going to start on this black side here, and I'm going to leave my threads long. If you want to pull them to the back, you can. I will back stitch on the way back. Actually, let's start right here.
Trim these. Let's see.
This one is off a tiny bit, so I'm just going to trim it a little bit. There we go. And we'll set this one to the side, and you want to make sure that you top stitch them mirrored. So this will be the back side, this will be the, so I'm going to start on the top on this one. I'm going to start right here. Perfect. Just trim this one up just a tiny bit on the side here. And we are good to go. So I've got my 2 hair tube pieces and our crown. I'm going to edge coat these, and then we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. I have my pieces edge coated. and my crown piece edge coated, and we're ready to go. I'm going to put this piece to the side because we'll be doing that one into the seam with the zipper. But for these two, we're going to sew them onto the face. So make sure you have the top side up, that you have the nicest stitching. Let's see. So she's got like these little indents here. I'm going to line these up where this little triangle piece is going to like hook like right here on top of her eye, just like this. And I'm going to position these to an angle that I like, and then so they're going to come out just like this. And I'm going to sew them on right here. I'm not going to tape it because I don't want it to get gooey or sticky or anything like that. I'm just going to hold it in place. If you want to clip it or tape it, you can. Your choice. I am going to put a clip. We want to make sure that we stay outside that 1/4 inch seam allowance for the outside of the bag. So I'm going to be starting it right here on the blue part. And I'm actually going to start at the bottom. Now you can leave your threads long if you want to. I'm just going to backstitch, but if you wanted to pull them to the back and tie them, you can. I'm not going to. I'm going to try to follow my same line here from stitching that I did the top stitching on. So I'll start here at the bottom. And then we'll see how that looks. Let me grab my scissors. So this is how it looks on the back. So it's pretty good on the front. And then don't forget, we're also going to have this crown in here too. So that'll be the complete piece. So let's go ahead and do this second side. I'll do this one right side up because it's easier from this angle. I'll go ahead and line it up the best we can with this one. It probably would be easier to tape it, but I'm stubborn, so we're not going to tape it. All right. Now, if I used a black thread, you wouldn't be able to tell so much that I was not in the right place. That's okay. I like a little accent. Give it that homemade look. Go ahead and clean up my edges here. There you go. So there we go. There we have the top piece. Now we need to attach our back lining panel. So we're going to do wrong sides together. You can go ahead and clip this if you want. And I'm just going to baste it all the way around. And I'm just going to trim the excess lining material so it's flush with the exterior panel. Now I did use my exterior to trace my lining, so I probably just sewed it on a little funny. That's why it doesn't match. No other reason. All right, there she is. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our crown right side up. So I want the stitching from this side up. I am going to put a little mark in the middle so we can get that lined up pretty good. And then I'm going to make little slits here because we're going to have to bend this to fit the seam. We want it to go on nice and cute. I don't know why I said cute, but that's how we want it on there. All right, so let's get our little clips here. And put one in the middle and then one here. Now, if you wanted to sew this down first and then come back for this, you can. I'm just gonna go all in one shot. Although, yeah, let's do that. Let's sew the middle down first. Might be a little easier. So we're just gonna sew this flat part. I'm gonna sew at a 4.5 stitch length, 1/8 inch baste, just like this. Just gonna back stitch, just like that. Okay, and now we're gonna be able to clip it so that it stays better. And you can use your awl or a stiletto or whatever you have in your arsenal. Be careful of our little tentacle here. There we go. And for the second side, I'm just going to hold it as I go because it's easier to manipulate the vinyl for me that way. I'm just kind of pushing it out from the top. All right, there we go. So it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to sew it into the seam. But here's the look at it so far. Ooh, she looks so good. Okay. I love it when a project turns out, you know. So let's get our gusset here. I already have my gusset sewn per pattern instructions. I'm gonna grab some big guys here. This one's gonna be a little, I don't want to say tricky, but it's definitely gonna be a little more cumbersome than most. So we're gonna flip this out, zipper side up. I'm gonna go ahead and clip this bottom part first. And then we'll snip our corners in a minute. And we're gonna tuck in all of our little hair pieces and our crown. And we're gonna line this up to the middle of our zipper, which I marked. And this has tape on it. So I'm just gonna guide the tape around where the crown is sewn. And then when I get to the end, the hair, we need to bend the hair out of the way. And then when I get to the end where there's no more tape, I'm just gonna clip it. And clip. And clip. And I'm gonna add a couple clips here just for extra safety or security. We're gonna add a big clip here at the top. And then we're gonna do the same thing on this side. We're gonna fold the crown down, align our zipper with the edge, make sure that your hair is not in the way. It's okay, we'll trim that, that's not a big deal. And once we get to the side with no tape, we need to clip. Say hello, Ellie. Miss Feisty. I've already kicked her down several times today because she wants to be all up in my business. Okay, so we're gonna check to make sure that our gusset is straight. So it is. This is what it looks like. Make sure your hair is not, or your whatever those things are, and your crown is not in the way. Let's add some extra clips on this side and an extra clip on here. We're gonna snip, snip. On both sides. And then we're gonna grab some more plastic clips. I'm just gonna gently push this down so that it matches the corner. Just like that. And we're going to do this one. Perfect. Now we're going to stitch it a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. Go slow if you have to. I'm going to go the only speed I know how to go, fast, like Ricky Bobby. Back stitch. And off we go. You want to go slow when you get to the zipper. Make sure you don't get your zipper pulls or the hair into your seam. We're going to have to go back around on the zipper. Make sure we caught that 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now I do use 2 different color threads in the top and the bobbin when I do this. That way I can see where I've made mistakes and where they can be fixed. But that doesn't help when the battle one's black. Yeah, so you can see that's a little wonky here and here. But when we put the binding on, it should come out a little straighter. And then we'll open this. Let's open this so that the crown can pop out here. That'll give us a little extra room. All right. So you can pop it out if you want to see how it looks. I think it looks great. I'm going to use 1/2 inch double fold bias tape from Amazon. The amazing Amazon. I mean, they're not that amazing. They're just prompt. Inconvenient. Make sure you trim all your edges to make sure that everything is flush. So when you put on your binding, there's no lumps. I didn't follow my own advice. Where's my scissors? Shut up, cat. I'm going to trim that part of the crown off. Make sure you don't trim your zipper tape. It's not a big deal that we trim that little piece off. And then we're almost to the end. And then we're going to trim it so it overlaps a tad. All right. Whew. So I'm going to top stitch this at a number 5 at a 1/4 inch all the way around. I guess it's not really a top stitch, but it's a, you know, a stitch. I don't know. Okay. So we want to pay extra attention when we're going around the zipper on this one to make sure that we don't get those extra pieces and to make sure that we get that 1/4 inch seam allowance if we missed it the first go round. There we go. Go slow. Great. All right, we're gonna go ahead and here we go. Fire, kitty, fire. Just trim those edges. My binding looks great. And then we're gonna go ahead and do the top, the toop, the tippity toop. We're gonna add the back. I marked my middles on both. We're doing the standard Mav pack construction with the 3 places. I use my big one on the bottom and a big one on the top. Make sure your crown is not in the way when you're doing this one. And then if you need to clip a little into this curve, you can. I'm just going to add a couple. And let me add one more here at the bottom, and then I can clip those corners. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and start at the top. Work our way towards the bottom. And you can do this however you like. This is just the way that I like to do it. I've made many that were uneven, so I feel like working from the center towards the bottom, or from any of your markings towards, you know what I'm trying to say. We'll just fast forward this bit because I babble. Oh, rip clip. Oh, and that was a black one. God bless it. All right. I'm just gonna push this down. There we go, and this one's the same. Just gonna push it down. All right, 4.5, 1/4 inch, all the way around. I like to start on the side. All right. Oh, bless it. Every time, don't I?
Can't see who's on the ride. Let me get. Okay, let's hold that.
Let's make sure that we caught all of our edges. Looks pretty good to me. We want to open this up and make sure that we caught all of our connectors. We need a light. Let there be light. Hold on, I'm gonna turn on this big, bright, obnoxious one so that I can see inside my bag. Okay. Looks okay to me, man. You want me to leave this on? Is that better lighting for you guys? Okay. Oh, no more jiggly. Okay, so now we're going to put on our bias tape. You know, the sun's just going down earlier and earlier these days. I underestimated the time it was going to take me. So I'm going to trim up my sides real quick, just to make sure that they're flush. I'm going to start at the bottom because that's what I always do. We're going to go all the way around.
All the way around.
Yay, I did it. I did it. We did it. We did it together. Ellie. So we're going to go ahead and send your little threads here. We're going to see if there's any other threads that need to be taken care of. Looks pretty good. So here's the outside. I'm going to use my little embossing heat gun to warm it up. Because of the vinyl and the Decaville that I used, I don't want it to be too wrinkly. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and try to pop this bad boy. Oh no. Some of our stitches came off, but we can fix that. Must not have back stitched good enough. Sorry, my shoulder keeps hitting the camera. I'm going to push out all that binding, those corners that we have. If you wanted to heat up the inside of the bag some more, you can. Alright, yeah, you'll see my stitches popped here, but it's okay, I could fix it. And look at that. Oh, she looks so good. A little wrinkly, a little on the wrinkly side, but that's okay. She'll sit just fine. And there you have it. Here is our blue diva from The Fifth Element. Do you guys know that song? Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, I don't know how it goes, but that's it. I'm going to go ahead and de-wrinkle this girl a little bit, and then I'll post some pictures, and that's it for our video. This is another Mav Pack hack from K&A Custom Fabrics. If you have any questions, comments, leave them in the box below, and we'll see you later. Bye.